Hey everybody, this is my 20 long open-topped office tank, and we're about to turn the lights on. I usually wait till about mid-afternoon since I'm usually in here till late at night. I get the tank lit up later in the day, and now is the time we're going to do that. But we're going to change the lights over to something a little different today. So I wanted to show what I've already got on here, and we're going to do a little bit of a comparison to what I've got versus what I'm putting on there. Now, first of all, I've been asked in the past to show how I have suspended this light above the tank. So we're going to have a look at that first off the bat. And of course, I can go ahead and just get it turned on. It's a little switch right here on the side. You flick. And that is an LED that has the red and the blue. It's for planted tanks. It's a fairly unpleasant look. I've got that foil over it because when I sit at the desk here next to it, I'm more or less looking up, and so that foil may not be the most attractive in the world, but it limits the light to shining basically right to the edge of the tank, and that way it doesn't light up the whole room and shine in my face and everything else. As far as how I've got it mounted up there, that is simply, and again, that is literally just a piece of aluminum foil I've got folded in half and sitting over top of this very flat fixture. The fixture itself, probably should have been a little more prepared for this video, but the fixture itself is just sitting on two bent pieces of garden stake. Those are tomato stakes or whatever you would stake up with them. Let's see, you can kind of tell how thick the wire is or how heavy gauge the wire is, and I basically just have them bent. I have that sitting on top of it, and then I have a twisty tie holding it in place, and that goes for the other end as well. Now, of course, the wire goes down the other side, and again, likewise with either twisty ties or zip ties, I just have the wire tied off to that, and then the way I've got it supported is good old PVC pipe, 90 degree, it runs across the back. There's another 90 degree at the other end, and it comes up here to the front. So it effectively is, you know, a squared off or a rectangular horseshoe, and then I've drilled holes through the PVC and put those pieces of wire or tomato stakes or whatever. Let's see if we can have a look back here and see if we can push the curtain out of the way. So not the best look, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I've more or less just drilled a hole in there and then run the PVC or run the wire through. Now I believe I did run the metal through and bend it, and then wrapped some twisty ties or some zip ties around that just to give it some stability. And that's it. It's pretty much like everything else I do. It's done on the cheap, very low budget, and that is what we're getting ready to replace this light with. It's wafer thin. I mean, you can barely see that light, but I don't like it, especially when it's exposed. You know, again, when you're sitting down here, that's just kind of unpleasant shining in your face. It's a little too close to the tank. I want to let this temple plant grow up and get nice and big and healthy. I've decided that I don't think that my water sprite here was getting too much light. I initially said that this light was just overlighting my water sprite, and that's what was preventing it from growing, but I don't think that's the case. What I think is happening is between the guppies and the shark in there nibbling on the roots, I think the root systems are just being brutalized, and that's preventing the plants from growing very well. Plus with the, you know, the air movement in this room and everything, it's a very you know, possible what's the word I'm looking here for? Dehydration. There's not enough humidity in the air, even though it's directly above the water like that. I don't know how it would not be enough humidity right there, but it's possible that they're drying out because they're not getting enough moisture coming up through their roots or whatever. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and change this light over regardless of whether it's a problem or not. And we're going to put another light on it that's a little bit higher. It's going to be about 18 inches above the tank. And I'll give you a little bit of a look at it. We're probably going to cannibalize some of that PVC pipe to stand it up properly. But right now we've got sort of a half of a base on there, that would work. I could just set it sort of along one edge and behind it. But what it is an under cabinet fixture, and it is also an LED under cabinet fixture, and likewise just a couple little twisty ties holding it on there. It's got its own little cord. It's a very nice light. It's 5000K. Not the best color rendering in the world, but it's a nice light, and it's a lot more pleasant on the eyes than that is. So we're going to go ahead and swap that out right now. So have a look. We'll call that your before. And there's your after. So it's definitely a lot less light, and it's definitely a lot softer. The LED that came off of there was for planted tanks, and between the red and that blue, I don't know what the correlated color temperature on it was supposed to be, but I'm guessing it was probably between 6500K and 10,000K, whereas this is a much softer 5000K. In fact, I don't even know if this is quite 5000K. I'm not even sure if it said that it was 5000K. I think it said daylight, and it left it up to your imagination what you wanted to consider it to be there. Maybe I'll look at the packaging later before we look at this tank again and see what it looks like. So, still looks basically the same if you just look at the top section. Not crazy about the piece of PVC pipe right there, but whatever. I'm not really paying that much attention to it. It's basically just a white bar. And then, of course, over the tank, when you actually just sort of focus on the tank, you can see a lot more of it. That other bar was so close to the plant and so close to the tank that it just didn't look right. Now, I suppose I could put that light back on it and just raise it up higher like I've done with this one. But I just, again, I'm not real crazy about the way that light made the tank look. So we're going to have to give it some time and see how the plants do under this tank. I think the Temple plant will be okay. I don't think they're a really high light need plant, but we'll see how it goes. And then, of course, we are right here next to the window, and this is the south facing side of the house. So with just a little look, you can see my cat's footprints heading on up into what is supposed to be our garden. And that is why I've got my curtains closed, and I'm sitting in here looking at a tropical fish tank rather than the icy frozen snow we've still got out in the yard, and we've got more coming tomorrow. So I'm going to leave it at that and say make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss anything I got coming up. I think our next project's going to be to go downstairs and tackle the gourami tank. I've got blackbeard algae just swamping the tank. It looks terrible, and I need to get in there and just do some major cleaning and just removing a bunch of stuff and scrubbing it out. So that's going to be a whole video in itself. And of course, you don't want to miss that or anything else. So thanks again for watching this one. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget this is my office tank. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you real soon in the next one.